The latest report that I've done is the Supplying GM report, and that covers various angles of General Motors, global production, global supply, and the changes that GM is implementing to try and achieve increased efficiencies across their production and supply side purchasing activities. As a supplier, reading the report would give you an insight into how GM runs its global activities. It would give you an insight into which areas GM needs to have more choice. It gives you insight into the costing behind GM and its purchasing activities. It gives you also more information about how GM is changing in how it views supply-side relationships, what it looks for in a good supplier, so the supplying company can adapt itself to suit what GM is looking for. I think GM in the past has been guilty of simply telling suppliers to meet a cost, make the reduction, we don't care how it happens, just do it. And I think more recently, GM has switched tactics to say, look, we'll work with you to achieve a percentage reduction in the price of a given part. We will work together as a team and we will help you to achieve what we're looking for. And I think this is really going to help suppliers and General Motors both in developing new technologies and also in reducing the price of those parts as they're delivered to each assembly plant. There is definitely a better relationship between GM and its suppliers at this point. It was very fractious, it was very confrontational at some points, and I think that has been pushed aside for the better. I think the relationships between GM and its suppliers now are quite strong. GM is answering and delivering elements to the suppliers that they are asking for, such as extended production schedules. I think in helping them with improve efficiencies within their own plants, GM is helping the supply side, and in turn that promotes more efficient and better relationships from supply looking at GM as well. For example, if there is a natural disaster or a weather event that is going to affect production at General Motors, perhaps in anticipation of that, the supplier can ramp up their own delivery, help GM as they ramp up their delivery, and this doesn't have to be arranged, it just simply happens because the supplier is aware of how GM is approaching or how GM approaches these situations. The most interesting strategy in terms of supply side is that the 4 GM regions used to be very much in control of their own purchasing activities, and that now is being taken back in to Detroit, and the regions are having less say in the supply of their own parts. I think this is going to help a lot as GM looks to implement more global vehicles, because then they will also implement more global contracts with their suppliers. And also it'll take away the fractional purchasing element, and by that I mean they will be able to leverage their total buying power in order to achieve a better value for their purchasing.